Yes, yes.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Outsiders podcast, episode
Hey,
3.
hey, who,
Yes, yes,
who,
yes.
yes.
Here with my amazing
uh,
host, Julio,
co-host for sure.
and of course, co-host. Yes, yes. We're all
Yeah,
in this half-half.
yeah, man.
But
First time actually trying something like this. Not always we're gonna be together. Unfortunately, recently we just passed a lockdown crisis in Brisbane. The second
man,
lockdown in Brisbane. Um,
lockdowns are in and out, man.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, Alan is currently living in Toowoomba, so he wasn't able to come today. But we figure out ways, bro. That's what we do in
Gotta
this
figure out
podcast. We figure
ways.
out ways. We fucking need to get it
Hmm.
done weekly. I don't give a fucking shit if I'm dying. I'm making a post every single
Yes,
week.
sir. Nah, man, we gotta do it, man. And yeah,
Yeah,
that's
man.
it. Thank the Lord for technology. Yeah. So this is what
Yeah,
you'll commonly see when I'm not able to be in Brisbane, and yeah, as you said, we got the lockdowns. Cases started popping out of nowhere in Brisbane and also New South Wales, Sydney. So man, the whole world
yeah,
really just cases
yeah.
everywhere, man.
It's that we're gonna say that we're gonna extend the restrictions in Brisbane, but it seemed like the cases have decreased in the past 3 days, so they're not gonna like increase the lockdown time. But
Mm,
yeah, it seems like everything's coming back to normal, but we still have to wear masks. That's the only thing, from
yeah,
my understanding. But yeah, do
yeah,
you want to go through the highlights of the week?
yeah. Man, we could talk about the week. Man,
Yeah.
my week. Yeah, I mean, this time it wasn't really that special. I just kind of stayed around here. Um, it was a few cool moments though. Like I had my little
Mhm.
brother's birthday like
Oh damn.
yesterday. Yeah,
Yes.
man,
How old is he turning?
dude's growing up, man. He's turning 19, and yeah, man, it's kind of crazy. Like to see your brother grow like that, and yeah, you just remember the times where you were kids and all that. And he's turning freaking 20 next year, so that's kind of wild. But shout out to you, brother. You know who you are, man. So
Bonjo.
yes, sir, the one
Bro,
and
have to
only.
have to promote, man. Come on.
Yeah, yeah,
Bonjo,
yeah.
that's his artist name.
The
He's
producer,
a
yes,
rapper in the making, already producer,
yes, yes,
young,
yes. Nah, man.
talented Mozambican beast.
Of course. Yeah, it's in the family, man. Yeah, we all like music one
It's in
way
the
or another.
veins. It's in the
So
veins.
yeah, it's in the veins, man. So
Nice,
that's what
nice,
it is.
nice.
It was his birthday, and then otherwise, um, also in the music side, like because I kind of write on the side as well.
Yep.
I'm thinking of like making a 5-song EP. So
Hmm.
yeah, I had all the songs kind of recorded, but now I'm in the phase of like getting them mastered and stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, I just got my first song mastered today, like sent over to get mastered. So yeah, man,
Man,
we
how much is that?
making a bit of progress.
How much
It
did the
depends
guy
on who
charge
you
you?
use, but people could charge you from freaking like 100 to
Okay.
like $100 like a base price, like from
Hmm.
what I've seen.
Okay.
But it could be higher or lower, doesn't really matter. So,
Right, right,
but
right.
yeah, I got something kind of related to the base price. So yeah, and plus I
Okay.
already kind of knew the guy, so yeah, it
Damn,
helped
nice,
out in
nice,
that
nice.
sense.
Any other highlights? Any highlights? Shiny moments of the week?
Um, no man, nothing too crazy, man. Just 9 to 5 grind. Yeah, just
Mm-hmm.
kind of the regular work life, but also
Cold as fucking Toowoomba, I'd imagine.
man, pretty cold out here, man. Yeah, we're in the mountains, so yeah,
Freaking
gotta wear like 3, 4 jackets
sleep with a
to
jacket.
survive and everything.
Dude,
So it's kind of wild.
I don't think I can even show you, but oh actually give me a sec. Okay.
All
This
right,
jacket.
just gonna get to the closet, guys. Now showing the exclusives.
This jacket for the people that I can actually see, like just feel it like for the people that are listening, the jacket,
Mm,
bro. This jacket has been with me for the past
mm,
5 years. I've never
mm.
bought a heater. You just make sure you sleep with a guy like this, with a machine like this.
Yeah, man, you're all
Dude,
set.
the best purchase, one of the best purchases that I've ever
Yeah,
made. Like absolutely the best.
get you a good jacket, guys, for the winter. Hey, very necessary.
But yeah. Um, on my side, dude, I'm turning 23 years old tomorrow, man.
Whoo, birthday
23 years
boy.
old. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. The lockdown definitely like affected my plans. I've
Mm,
nothing planned at the moment. I'm probably just gonna chill with the housemates, um,
mm,
maybe a movie or something. Probably have a chill one.
mm.
Um, but yeah, it's crazy. Already 23 years old. Like,
Time's
time
flying, man.
flies. Time
Yeah,
flies so quickly. So quick. Dude,
23, and we're
my
already
yeah.
we're already in July, bro. That's something else that trips me out. Like the year is just flying as well. But anyway,
Dude, my parents got married at 24 years old. I'm turning 23. Like it's just crazy to picture like how close I'm, I don't know, like it's just bizarre to think that I'm
Yeah, and
getting
my mom had me at 23, bro. So
damn.
it's kind of crazy, man, when you think about the age things happened. Yeah, it's
But yeah, so turning 23 tomorrow. What else? Well, yeah. So my parents sent me money for my birthday. They were like, "Oh, we're gonna send you money, and please take pictures for us. I want to see you like looking fresh."
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
of course.
low key they're thinking that I'm gonna spend that money somewhere else, fucking on alcohol or something. So
Yeah,
that's why they're like, "Oh, it's fucking take a photo. I want to
yeah,
see a
yeah.
photo,
Before
man.
you start going crazy, yeah,
Yeah, take a photo. Take that photo because
yeah,
that's a
because
present." So I ended
yeah,
up
yeah,
buying
yeah.
three shirts at Universal. I
Nice.
ended up spending a bit too much. It was like
Hmm.
230 something dollars. I was expecting to be. I was planning to. Ended up thinking I'm gonna buy one thing. Ended up buying like four
Yeah,
things.
you
So
freaking bought the whole store.
yeah, and then any highlights from work? Well, yeah, still working casual. Oh, actually, I got a video interview. I don't know for the people that listen to the previous podcast. I got an interview for this company, and I actually got through the second in like interviews because it was like a first round, and I got into the second round, and I actually have to go on site, which is in Ipswich.
Ooh,
Um, so I need
yeah,
to
it's a bit
figure
of a
out.
distance.
Yeah, so I need to plan the day nicely. Hopefully, I can get a job.
Nah, man,
Finally,
awesome,
quit
bro.
Kmart. Um, but
Yeah,
yeah, that's
that's
it for the
sweet.
week. Nothing too crazy.
Hmm. And is it
Let's
like is the second round interview like next week or something?
Yeah, it is on Wednesday. He sent me
Okay.
an email with all the details. It starts at 1:30.
Heck
Need
yeah.
to wear like specific boots because it's on a plant, on a water treatment plant. So I need to make sure
Hmm.
that I have the right equipment.
Yeah, all that.
But
Man,
yeah,
that's sick, man. Yeah,
but yeah,
congrats.
that's it for me. Do you want to get into the actual juice of the episode? Let's get into it, man.
Ooh, boys, we've been prepping for this one. Yeah, we can get into it then. Let's do
Prepping so much for it, man.
it.
They don't even know. They're not ready.
They don't even know, man. But
um,
yeah, we could get into it, and I guess if I open it up, we're basically diving into kind of two interesting topics today. Both of us being from backgrounds that are not necessarily English. You being Colombian and me
mhm.
being Mozambican, comes us having a bilingual kind of look at things. You speak Spanish, I speak Portuguese.
Yeah,
So we kind of wanted to highlight the experience of the bilingual mind and like how that kind of influences how we think. Like, because, you kind of think in two languages, so you kind of behave in
yeah,
different ways with
and
those
I
two
feel
languages.
exactly. I feel like it's not just the way that you um it's not just from the fact that we can speak any other language. Is the fact that we can speak, at least in my case, Spanish. Like it's not the same. Like there's some sort of behavior, I believe, when you speak in Spanish rather than Chinese, because the structure of Chinese is in such a way that you describe situations in a different way. For example, like actions are like this subject, whereas in Spanish, the gender of what you're talking about it's more important. So yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, also the cultural aspect as well. Like, obviously, when you have two
Culturally, of
languages,
course.
you definitely have, it's a given. Like, you'll have different ways of thinking coming into a new language. Like, yeah, so it's always because English is a different culture from Spanish, and
Yeah.
English is a different culture from Portuguese. So
Hmm.
yeah, there'll always be different ways we look at things because of that. And so yeah, I think that was the first half, and
Mm.
also kind of digging into memory lane. We're gonna be talking about the uni experience and all the house because being through that, we had a lot of kind of housemates along the years, and so yeah, man, a lot of memories associated with that. So
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about basically the kind of worst experiences we've had, like with housemates and everything like that. Because
We've
man,
easily, hands down, we've met every single type of housemate that there's ever going to be in this life.
yeah,
Like from like the angry one, the cleaning one, like super obsessed with making sure that everything's clean. The
yep,
super loud one.
yep,
The
super
that
chill one.
the housemate that you have a housemate but you never really see in the house, so you never really had a housemate.
Yeah,
Um, So yeah,
Yeah, the really chill one doesn't give a damn about anything. It's just free spirit. We've had that as well. So
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
just
Um,
gonna talk about our experiences.
yeah, so let's go through the bilingual mind.
Hmm.
The bilingual
Let's do it.
mind. So once again, I'm from Colombia. My first language is Spanish. So what happens in Spanish, like what I have to say about that is that when you speak in Spanish, you have genders. And Alan speaks Portuguese, right? You speak Portuguese.
Yes, sir.
So um, whenever you refer to something, there's always a gender attributed to it. So for example, the table, la mesa, it's it's female. And
Hmm.
when and I was watching a video the other day, this TED talk about how we immediately refer to things in a different way, and like therefore our personality changes just because of the nature of the language, not necessarily culturally. Culturally is definitely part of it, but the language itself affects our behavior. And
Mm.
what the speaker was saying was that if you ask someone, if you ask an Italian, describe the moon, the Italian would be, "Oh, the moon is beautiful, is romantic, is like passionate." Whereas if you ask someone from Germany, they would say the moon is round, circled, wide. It goes in different phases. So and that is just an example. Like I'm saying from the top of my head, it was German. I can't remember the exact language,
Hmm.
but it seems like because of the way that the language is structured, we describe things in a different way, and therefore our personality is different, which I found really really interesting. And when it comes to a language like English, um, is very neutral based. So it seems like English is driven in a more action kind of thing rather than more action rather than subject, which I think is pretty interesting. What are your thoughts on that?
Hmm. Well, at first I didn't really know how much I agreed with that. Like, because I feel like, um, with the German example of saying it's round. I mean, I feel like people that speak English could also say that, like, the
Yeah,
moon,
exactly.
like, is round, and it's. But the more I think about it, I feel like, yeah, definitely, there's different ways of talking with the different languages. So
Uh
if
huh.
you're going by that angle, then I can see where, because you hear the kind of stereotypes. Um, you know, Obviously they're not. That they're stereotypes for a reason. They're not fully true, but they're true in a wide spectrum. So when you say, you hear the ones of like French people are romantic, or like
Yeah.
Spanish people are also romantic, and things like that. So that kind of comes with the connotation that they speak in a sort of more fluid way, in a sort of more playful way. And then
Yeah.
when you think about that, when you look at the German culture, they say they're very precise and kind of efficient, and I don't know, like this
Yeah,
is the
exactly.
stuff you just
Yeah,
hear.
yeah, no, exactly. No, I completely agree on that, and that is precisely what I'm saying. Um, but
Yeah.
like what the speaker was trying to say is because the way that the language is structured, so like the actions at first, for example, like you say the action, and then you say like English equivalent, like running, I am in the afternoon, or
Mm.
like the fact that you're referencing the action gives you a more objective way of describing things because you're focusing on the action. Whereas in French, Portuguese, Spanish, Italian, all these languages which have like gender, like female, male,
Yep.
you describe them in a way that somehow linked to feminine and masculine attributes, not necessarily. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much
Mm.
exactly what she was saying. So when she was like running all these tests about like what like oh describe these things, and she would notice that the descriptions were very different, and not necessarily it was cultural. That she wasn't trying to experiment with culture, but just the language itself, like what are the changes. And she was also touching into how indigenous people actually communicate, because a lot of the time they would use the same word. They would use the same word for multiple things. So
Mm.
like I don't know, like bird would mean house, would simply mean a lot of things, and
Okay.
and that sort of way of seeing things changed the way that they would act on specific things, which I found pretty interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah. On
Yeah,
that
there's
note,
definitely something to it, man. I mean,
yeah,
languages, like, yeah, definitely influence how we think in a way. Like, yeah, how the way we structure sentences and um, everything like that. Because, yeah, you even hear the cases where people speak two different languages will often try to um, say the language or say the sentence in the
Mm-hmm.
way that our dominant, like in our dominant language
Mm-hmm.
way. So if I speak
Mm-hmm.
uh, Portuguese more dominantly,
Okay.
when I speak English, I will use a Portuguese way of framing the sentence to speak
Mm.
English. Like when I'm first starting out, like if I'm learning English,
Mm-hmm.
like I'll probably lean more
Mm.
into, oh, okay, in Portuguese we say uh, the sentence this way in this structure, so I'm gonna do the same in English. But it's not till we
Okay.
further learn it
Yeah.
that we
So
know how to say the sentences in different ways according to the different languages.
okay. Would you say that you think in English when you're speaking in English, or you're translating so quickly that it just becomes fluent? Are you thinking in English, or you translate super quickly?
I think I got to a point where I translate quickly because
Okay.
I also that thing of being able to, being raised in an English school. So what would happen to me is I'd speak English at
Yeah.
school and then speak Portuguese at home. So
I
speak
think
Portuguese.
I think you're a very particular case. Like you're a very special case because you weren't born. I mean, I guess yes, because you were born in the US, right? So you were exposed to English, like American English, for a really long time till you were how old?
Well, it was like till I was 4. So I was
Okay.
like, so you're a baby. You're not really. I mean, I could probably
But
say a
till
few sentences.
when you're 4 years old, surely you already picked up a fair chunk of the language, and it would
Oh
always
no, I
stay in
could
your head.
definitely speak, but I could speak both languages because my mom didn't speak English at all. Like when she went to
Uh,
New York, like she went with my dad and stuff, and my dad is the one that learned the language, and my mom
okay.
went there like without knowing anything about it. So with my mom, she would normally speak to me in Portuguese, but then
Yeah. Yeah.
I obviously learned English because of being in the environment. Yeah.
What I was trying to get at is that there's the people that are born in that sort of environment where we have like where they have parents from abroad and the child is born somewhere else in which they sort of um, grow up in two different sort of environments and they become really good at both languages. So there's that situation, but there's also my situation, at least in my case, where you're simply born with the same language, but you learn from the language as you grow older from school, pretty much.
Mm.
So I think in your case, because in your case, you were born in the US, but at the same time you were in international school, and although it was in Mozambique, you would always speak in English with your friends, right? All the time,
Yeah,
us
obviously
that
at
is.
school you speak. I mean, but at school, like that was the main language. So it was kind of like a interesting thing where when you're at school, you feel like you're not necessarily in Mozambique almost because you're only speaking English, and then you have Portuguese class as well.
Okay.
So you kind of getting back to that. But then once you get out of school, that's when it's like, okay, back to reality. Let's speak Portuguese now. Like you want to buy something at the
Yeah,
store, you're not going to speak to someone in
of
English.
course.
You
Yeah.
want to do all these things. So it was a bit of a mixture of that.
Yeah.
Like in school, it was just like, yeah, strictly English. And then outside,
When
you switch the language.
when you were in classes, say Portuguese classes, would you say like, oh, how do I say this in Portuguese? Or like, how do I say this in that?
Nah, there wouldn't be any of
Like
that unless,
you would always know the answer because you just simply know.
yeah, because I
Okay.
speak the language. So it would only be
Okay.
that case when it was like a big word we were learning. Like,
Right.
because in Portuguese class, you would learn like new vocabulary and stuff. So sometimes you'd have like a super big word. Like we used to call it 50 palabras, which means
Okay.
like 50 words.
Okay.
So like every session of the 50 palabras, you'd have like 50 kind of big words, kind of fancy sounding words that
Uh huh.
you wouldn't use in your normal dialogue.
Uh huh.
So in those cases, you'd be like, man, what the heck is this? Like, how do you say this? You probably look at the dictionary, but like, yeah, general speech, yeah, wasn't a problem. Yeah,
Okay. Damn. Yeah, because
that's it.
for those for those one that don't know, Alan's English is so good. Alan's English, like when I first met him, he like I thought he was American. Like I genuinely thought you were American. Met Alan in IES as we were lining up. So we went to this international school, right? I was lining up, and there's it's an international school in Australia. So obviously the majority of people will come from Asia, and
Hmm.
I'm sort of okay. Let's quote unquote Western from Colombia, South America. I was sort of like looking for friends, for like for people that I could relate. And I saw Alan, and I'm like, man, I need to become friends with Alan. And you were helping. You were the
Yeah, I was in the
student
student council.
the
Yeah,
student
helping
council.
everybody, and
You're like, hey
yeah,
man,
just
how,
kind of
can I help you with something, man? Can I help you with something, man? And I'm
yeah.
like, no,
You need
yeah,
something,
sure.
bro?
Like, what's your name? Need a hand, bro? Need a hand, bro? And
Yeah.
it was pretty cool. But yeah, so Alan's English has always been good, like from day one from of him being in
Oh,
Australia.
oh.
Whereas in my case, it wasn't always like that. I feel like my accent was completely different back then compared to how it is today. And also I think I lacked the confidence as well to speak in English. Like
Hmm.
it was a different situation. Um and I I think I got to improve my English from working at Cayman, because when you work in Kmart, you get calls all the time from customers, right? And if you work in a store where we sell absolutely everything, and you miss the vocabulary for a very particular thing, it's
Hmm.
very likely that you find it at that store. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't know how to say a strainer. There's a strain like this like, what better place to learn a word than a place that sells absolutely everything, like every single item that you could possibly think.
Hmm.
So, and by heart, dude. And when I say
Yeah.
by heart, I learned so many words.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
I feel like with Alan, I would say that I was very safe with you, because I could like mess up the whole time, and you'd be like, oh, you like, this is how you say it, and blah blah blah. So that's easy.
Yeah.
But when you're actually with locals, people don't really care if you can't say something. They'd be like, what, like,
Yeah.
they look at you like, what the fuck are you trying to say? Like, you sound so
Hmm.
strange, or not sound strange, but I can't really understand what you're saying, and they just like go away.
Yeah.
So there were multiple situations in which I had no clue. Like, I remember really in particular a customer looking like, I would pick up the phone, be like, hey, welcome to Kmart in Japan, how can I help you? And she's like, oh, my name is blah blah blah, I'm after a strainer. I had no clue what a strainer was, dude. And I'm like, a
Huh?
what? A strain a strainer, yeah. So I was just looking on the website, and apparently you guys are selling this strainer for $3.50. And I'm like, okay. uh
Yeah.
you don't want to say,
Huh?
I don't know the word. Like, you don't want to
Yeah.
be
Just
like,
like
oh shit, I'm so sorry, like, I'm actually from
yeah. One
Colombia, I don't
second.
really I mean, I mean, of course you can go through that way, but I didn't want to come across as that guy,
Yeah.
you know, like.
Didn't know what he was doing, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So I
Yeah.
I I, I literally pass the phone to someone else. I'll be like, yeah, sure thing. I'll pass the phone to someone else, and a colleague, a work colleague, would be like, oh, that customer after a strainer, and I'm like, what the fuck is a strainer? And
Yeah.
no, a strainer is this thing that you used to filter things and blah blah blah. It looks like a mesh, and it's right here, and I'm like, oh right. But from being on that uncomfortable situation, that's how I managed to pick up a lot of words. That's when I was like, holy fuck, the hard memory, like going through a like short term suffer, made me like memorize exactly that word, and I'll never forget. I think
Hmm.
I'll never forget what a strainer is. And it's like that so much that I know the words that I've learned. Like, I could name the words. Like, I didn't know what a strainer was. I didn't know what a splinter was, like the wooden thing. This a
Yeah.
splinter.
Splinter. Yeah.
Yeah, I
When you
didn't know
kind of
what.
get a piece of wood in
Exactly,
your
yeah.
finger or something.
All these words, and they all come from very uncomfortable situations. But at the end, here
And
we
you know
are,
what the thing is, bro?
boys.
That's the best way to learn. Like,
Mm,
you're not gonna learn any other way, man. Like, because a lot of people, they kind of stay in that. Oh man, I don't speak well enough, so let me not speak at all. And
that
then
is
what happens is
such a mistake.
don't
Yeah,
you don't end up learning anything. But the way you did it is the best approach, because now you're putting yourself out there, and it's like, oh yeah, this is
yeah,
how you say it, or this
yeah,
is like, you kind of learn from the practice, and that's the best way to learn any language. Like, just put yourself in the environment where people are
yeah.
speaking it, and fail, like mess up. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day,
Exactly.
people will kind of look at you like, in all honesty, they'll probably be like, yeah,
Yeah,
this guy, he comes
yeah.
from a foreign country, so they're almost kind of expect you to mess up sometimes,
Hmm.
and it's okay. So they don't really, I feel like they don't look at it like, man, this guy,
Yeah,
he's trash at English, he doesn't know anything. I think they look
yeah.
at it like,
Hmm.
oh, okay, he's foreign, let me just try to explain it to him. But obviously,
That's not always the case. It is true. It is true
there's
that there's a
people
lot of
that think in,
uh-huh.
yeah, the other way. Like,
It is
um,
true that there's nice people, of course. Like they'll be like, oh, that's fine, and they really try to. I'm telling from experience. They really try to put an effort in trying to say what you're trying to say. But at the same time, there's people that generally they're like the most rude people to you. Like
yeah,
you get everything.
yeah,
But yeah,
especially in work
but exactly what
situations.
you're saying. Exactly what you're saying. Like you have to put
Mm,
yourself out there, and from every experience, the next experience is going to be way much better than the previous one. So
yeah, man.
yeah,
Because the crazy thing about that, man, is in my case, the whole thing about speaking English the whole time, I did have a phase where I felt kind of insecure about my
hmm
Portuguese. Because the thing
okay,
about speaking two languages is you kind of develop more of an accent in one than another, right? So I
yeah.
was speaking English the whole time.
Mm.
And then sometimes when I speak Portuguese, people would be like, you
You
kind
what
of
the fuck?
speak Portuguese with a bit of an accent.
Yeah,
And so I'll be like, what, man, what do you mean? Like, I know what I'm saying and I'm saying it clearly. But then they'd be like,
yeah,
yeah, but you kind of have a bit of an accent. So I think that kind of, in my early high school years, I'd kind of
mm.
look at myself like, damn, man,
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
almost
That's
feel
why.
like I'm not pure, like,
Yeah,
I'm not fully pure in the language because I sound a little bit different.
yeah,
But I feel like that
exactly.
comes with speaking two languages. Like you'll probably sound a little bit different in one of them, but
Mm.
then you'll still, as long as you can get the idea across, I think that's what matters.
Mm.
Yeah,
I've been asked
but
this
yeah,
question way too many times, which I feel like it'd be cool to bring up. Like, do you dream in English or Portuguese? How does it work for you?
and the crazy thing is both. But I will say
Mm.
mostly, I'd say mostly in English. If I was to choose
Mm.
something, yeah, I'd say mostly in English. But yeah, I kind of have dream in both
Yeah.
languages. I count in my head, like it's weird, but in my
Mhm.
head I count in Portuguese. Like
Yeah.
whenever I'm
Okay.
counting,
Yeah. When with numbers, of course, you seem to like at least I prioritize, but like numbers are way too stuck in my head in Spanish for me to
yeah,
like. I just don't have the time. But yeah, it's same with me. I think I dream mostly in English now that I'm in Australia, and also what happens to me a lot is that I would normally have conversations with people, and I obviously know when someone is talking to me in English or Spanish. It's
mm,
not like I can't tell the difference. Obviously, of course, I can tell the difference in the dream, and I'd be like,
yeah.
if I see this person that I know for a fact that they can't speak Spanish, and I'm like, okay, why? Like, what is going on? So it often happens that I can immediately tell when something is a dream, so I'd be
Mm.
like, oh, like this is not possible, so therefore I'm in a dream. But yeah, that's that's what happens.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I mean, for the people, and we also have a lot of international friends. Like there's so many people we've met people that have improved their English in such a way, and it's precisely from that, like
Yeah,
getting
man.
exposed to the right environment, the right people.
Yeah, putting yourself
Um,
out there. And we've also
mhm.
seen the opposite. We've seen the people that decided it's more comfortable to be with people that think the same way as you.
Yeah,
And so a lot of times they don't really put themselves in a situation to learn the language. And
yeah,
like what ends up happening is they like go back to their countries, like because they're not
yeah.
really fully embracing it. But that's the thing,
Mm,
like people are different. Some people aren't
mm.
comfortable like just putting themselves out there, like
Yeah,
risking looking like they're
yeah. I don't know if you
kind of a
remember.
little bit vulnerable. Like they don't want to be
Mhm.
vulnerable. They just kind of want to stay safe. So a lot of times they don't expose themselves. But yeah,
Mm.
man, that's definitely the best way. Like just
Yeah,
exposing yourself to the people that speak the language you want to speak, and
exactly.
that's how you pick things up.
Something that I mean, you obviously remember, like most of the people in this, I call it like international school, like in Australia when we first moved, like grade 12 equivalent in Australia. Um, Obviously, the majority of internationals would come from Asia, like a lot of Chinese people, a lot of like from Malaysians, and all these countries. And there were a lot of them, like so many of
That's like
them.
95% or something
Exactly,
from the stat
95%.
I heard.
Like exactly 95%. And what would happen is that, of course, when you move to a different country and you see someone that you relate to, you tend to stick to them. And what happened in
Mm.
IES, and I'm sure you remember, is that all these people were speaking in Chinese, although they were in Australia, like
Yep.
just full on, like their own languages, and it got to a point where they started to see that their English wasn't improving too much, and that's when they that's when they started to hire these people called they call them IS mates.
Yeah,
So
yes, mates. Yep, I remember now.
they would literally hire people randomly in lunch breaks to talk to people, like to talk to everyone, just like literally sit down while you're having a sandwich or something and just have a
Yeah, just
conversation in
lunch.
English.
Yeah. Hmm.
But
Yeah.
it touches on what you're saying, that you tend to speak to, you tend to, like, like get familiarize, not familiarize, but hang more with, people from the same country, and
Yeah.
like the people that speak the same language that you do, because you feel comfortable. But if you want to
Hmm.
get to that level, then you have to completely put yourself out there and create new circles,
Yeah,
in
you
which
have
you
to.
can, yeah.
Yeah, let yourself get uncomfortable because
Hmm.
that's how you grow. Like, as we said, like, you compare yourself to 5 years ago when you first came to Australia, and now you know a whole lot more things. Like, because you chose to, you know, get to that place of, all right, let me just be vulnerable. Let me expose myself. Let me
Mm,
go to these, like, even if I'm a little bit insecure about my language, let me do it anyway. And then that's how I learn. That's how I get better. And so, yeah, man, I
yeah,
definitely agree with that. And
yeah.
um, yeah, man, like,
Also,
because
mhm.
what I think is, like, you can't, in a way, you can't really blame them because of that. Like, we
Yeah, I
have
mean, it's
that
obviously fair
attachment
enough.
to,
Exactly.
because, yeah,
It's fair
if
enough.
everyone spoke Portuguese in IES, bro, I would probably
Mhm.
speak Portuguese as well. So it's like,
Yeah.
but it's just making that choice to
Hmm.
branch out if you actually want to learn a new language. Like, just, yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
just branch out.
That's it. Also, maybe just a quick tip as well. Like in my case, like I didn't grow up, like speaking English at all. I had to learn by myself. A really useful tip, especially for international students, is that I didn't know that there are countries that actually speak English, like apart from, like the typical ones: US, UK, South Africa, Canada. Like
Mm-hmm.
India, people in India speak really good English. I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
this. I didn't know this. Everyone in
Damn.
English seems to be speaking really good English, and that's when I met all these people. I met Sharad, Shadul,
Hmm.
like, well, really good friends of mine, Indians,
Yeah, shout out.
and they speak really good English. Um, they do have an accent, of course, but who cares about the accent at the end? Like they
Yeah, no
have
one
the
really cares. Yeah.
they have the right grammatical, like they have the structure right, and they have the vocabulary, and they have absolutely everything. These people, and also Singapore, Vinny, just giving
Yeah,
names, throwing out
Vini,
names out.
Edward. Yeah, shout out Edward.
Yeah, they all speak English as well. So
Mm.
um, yeah, exactly. So like, there's a lot of countries, there's a lot of people that you can hang with, if it's not necessarily locals. There's people from these countries that actually are really good in English, and they can give you a hand. Tushna, um,
Yep. Yeah,
yeah,
that's the thing, man. Finding people who can, oh, sorry,
give you
finding people who are on the same thought process as you in the sense of, I want to improve in this language. So it's like, it doesn't, if it's local people, that's cool, but it could also be other internationals that want to get better and want to get better their skills in the language.
mm,
And yeah, man, just finding a circle that has the same goals as you. And yeah, man, you'll be all right. And yeah, man,
yeah,
the thing
that's it.
about accents, yeah, accents don't really matter, guys. Like, as long as you
Yeah,
say what you have to say in the right way and people understand, that's all it is. Because, yeah, I
yeah.
have an accent, Julio has an accent, so it
Yeah,
doesn't
they will
really,
point it out to you all the time. They'll be like, "Oh, like
yeah,
where are you from?" They will say, "Are you from?" But once it's a 3 second conversation. So literally, get rid of that just okay, go through the 3 second conversation, and then they completely forget about it after like the 10 seconds of you speaking.
yeah,
So, which is something that it was really getting into my head, personally, because I would have this
yeah,
accent, and I would generally didn't like this accent, especially because I came out. Everyone is local, like
yeah,
there's no internationals that came on. I would speak in this particular way, and I would just feel bad because I would sound like this, which is so
mm,
stupid of me, because I
yeah.
shouldn't have cared. But
Yeah,
like, but
because
it happens. But it happens.
it happens, man. And
Um,
even in my case, like, the thing about the Portuguese, people saying, you don't sound fully
mm.
Portuguese, like that kind of used to bother me as well. I'd be like, man, what do you mean? Like, because I had a bit of an accent.
Man, what do you mean? Fuck off,
Yeah, what
man.
the
Come
heck
on.
you mean, bro? I've been here most of my life. But then they're
Yeah,
just like, oh yeah, you just sound like you speak another language as well, so you don't sound like the pure Mozambican. So I was like, man, I
yeah,
kind of
fuck off.
realized that eventually um, accents don't really matter because when you're talking to people and people can understand you, people are, they're laughing at your jokes, you're communicating effectively. That's what really matters. Like you said, the accent is just something they'll think about for a few seconds. Like, oh,
Mm.
okay, that's interesting. But then in the end, you can still have a conversation anyway. You can still um, talk to each other. So yeah, that's something I realized later on, like after graduation. Basically, that's when I kind of dealt with that fact. I was like, yeah, okay, it doesn't matter. I speak how I speak. As long as you can understand me, that's it. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's it. That's it. Um, I think it'd be a good idea to go through the next segment by now. What are your thoughts
Mm,
on that?
yeah, let's do it. Yeah, gave him a big chunk with the bilingual stuff. So yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like we
yeah.
can get into it.
Let's dive into the other topic, which is the type of housemates that we've met across our stay in Australia.
Hmm.
Personally, dude, I've moved easily 7 times, 7 freaking times in like 4 years, dude. So imagine
Man,
taking
this
all your
guy's
clothes,
moving.
looking for places. Oh my god! And moving to all those places, of course, you're gonna meet that guy. Of course, you're gonna meet that housemate where he's like absolute disgusting as fuck. He doesn't clean up anything.
Hmm.
He's loud as fuck, and
Hmm.
is just an absolute pain of a housemate.
Yeah.
So yeah, I moved. Why did I move 7 places? I think when I first came to
Gotta explain
Australia,
that, boy.
I when I first moved to Australia, I came with a tourist visa. This is actually that not many people know. I came with a tourist visa. I didn't know I was going to stay in Australia because I was looking
Yeah, I
for
didn't really know
unis.
that.
Um, yeah, so I came with a tourist visa, and then I was looking for unis, and then I'm like, oh well, like these three unis seem to be the best ones in Brisbane. The University of Queensland, QUT, and Griffith. So I was like, oh, I might study in these ones, and I was 17 years old at the time, which meant that I needed a guardian for me to like do my own things. It was such a
Hmm.
fucking pain in the ass, dude, because you
Yeah,
couldn't
man.
go anywhere. You couldn't
You
go
weren't old
anywhere.
enough yet, man. You were,
You had to be at home before 10 o'clock, and
bruh.
it was just so annoying. But because I was in a tourist visa, it was okay if I was 17. I didn't really need a guardian. But then I applied to IES to get to UQ, and
Hmm.
then once I got into IES, I needed a what they call a homestay because I was underage. So
Hmm.
I came to this first apartment. Then you're 17 years old, you need a homestay. So I moved again. This is in a matter of 3 months, or like it's so quickly. Oh, you're 17 years old, you need to go to this homestay. Oh, this
Hmm.
homestay is way too expensive. My parents can't afford it, and I don't have a job, so I need to move somewhere else. Move to this other
Hmm.
house close to this thing. Um, at the time I didn't know that I could I wasn't still able to move just by myself. Like I went to homestay, but I wanted to go somewhere else. I still needed to be with someone else. And then
Yep.
that's when I moved. That's when I got a guardian. Then I moved with my guardian. But when you're 17, uni is your guardian. Like did you know this? Like no one. Yeah, uni has to be your guardian.
Wait, but how though? Like, do they take so they take care of you at uni or?
They allow specific student accommodations for you to like check on you, like for them to check on you.
Huh.
And
Yeah, I
and
didn't know
and
that.
and in Brisbane, they had this like student like stuff like Student One, Genesis, Igloo, all these places are student accommodations.
Hmm.
So I met so many people, and I remember the very first housemates. It was actually a Colombian. He's probably in Colombia.
Okay.
I don't think he can. He's never going to see this. But he was from Colombia, and I remember getting into the room like ready. Like after a 24 hour plus journey from Colombia to Australia, I was tired as fuck, jet lag as fuck. I
Hmm.
literally just wanted to go to bed, and I didn't even see the apartment. I had an apartment booked, but I didn't even know the apartment. So I got to the
Wow.
apartment, and just as soon as I get it, as soon as I get into the room, there's like seven people, seven people, like eating the
In
food
the
and
house.
like yeah, exactly. or watching a movie, and they look at me like, I don't know if there's so many. There's only 3 bedrooms, and there's so many people in the house all watching the same thing, eating noodles or something,
Hmm.
and they look at me like just where like I get into the room and they look at me all in the same way, like
Oh yeah,
all
like all
looking
the
at
heads
me,
turning at the
and
same time.
boom,
Like,
exactly, all at the same time, and I'm like, hey, oh, hi, shit, fuck, I'm just gonna move my clothes. Hey,
okay, many
sorry,
Julio, yeah, many.
should I take off my clothes? I'm just gonna take off my shoes. Hey, sorry, hi, my name
Don't
is
mind me,
Julio.
don't mind me.
Hola, hi, my name is Julio. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna go to my room and yeah, so sorry. Carry along, carry along.
Hmm.
Um, and then this housemate or this guy's from Colombia, he was just disgusting as fuck, man. Like as soon as I got
Yeah.
into the bedroom, smelling like shit, bed sheets everywhere. My bed, I'm not sure if he
Wait,
was
were you
actually
sharing a
sleeping.
bedroom with her?
Yeah, I was sharing a bedroom. I was sharing the bedroom, dude. And
Man,
I was sharing the bedroom and the bathroom.
nightmare.
Absolute nightmare. Didn't like that place at all. Um, and then I was like, I'm 17. As soon as I get there, I'm starting to. As soon as I go to Australia, I'm like, nah, dude, I need to go back to Colombia. This is not for me. I need to get home with my family and blah blah. Blah. It was really
Hmm.
bad at that point. I feel like that is the most difficult part. Like the first 3 4 months of you being in a different country, those are the most difficult months. But
Hmm.
when you start to question, like, oh, did I make the right choice?
Yeah.
Um,
Homesickness hits and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Then I have to move somewhere else, and then move to this student accommodation. And there was this Chinese lady, and this Chinese lady, she was it was the best time. It was the best time, but I had another guy. His name, I can't even remember his name. But I need to drink some water real quick.
All right. Well, if you talk about another dude, maybe I could bring up a dude that
Mhm.
I kind of had. So yeah, man, with me, it was kind of a different journey. Like, I came here when I was 18, so I was kind of able to live life as a kind of young adult. I didn't have the kind of guardian requirements and stuff.
The dream,
So
fuck,
man, I was living, man.
absolute
Came
dream.
here living, man, like 18. But then what I did first is I went to homestay. So you live with an Australian family. Um, so that was the first thing I did, and I lived there for 1 month. And yeah, I remember they were pretty cool couple, man. Like, he was like 80,
Hmm.
like the husband was 80 and like from Germany, and then the wife was Australian and she was like 73. So they basically looked at me like a grandson, like a little kid or whatever. So it was pretty cool living with them, and I was living with
I thought that you moved
them.
with your mum. I mean, as in like you first traveled with your mum.
Yeah, I traveled with her. I traveled. She came here with me like for my first 2 weeks.
Hmm.
So it was she kind of that whole thing of, oh, let me help you move into this new continent, because I'd never been in Australia like in my life until I was 18. Yeah, until I came for uni. So she was just there, kind of like doing the tourist. We went on the tourist bus rides and stuff like that. Things you do in the
Hmm.
first few days. Tourist bus rides. She went to the mall and did a whole bunch of shopping and things. And I remember that day. It wasn't exactly the best first impression to Australia, because she went shopping in this whatever store it was. I forgot the name, but then I was just waiting outside. I was like, man, I'm not gonna follow my mom everywhere, like in the shops and stuff. So I just stood outside, in the benches, and then people were passing by, and this was like in Queen Street Mall. So then I remember an old dude walked up to me and he was like, "So what are you stealing this time, mate?" I
Oh,
was like, "Man, fuck."
what the fuck? Really? On
Yeah,
day
dude,
one?
literally, my
On day
first
one?
week. I think it was like day two or something.
Hey man, what you got in your pockets, man?
Yeah, what you stealing, bro? I was like, bro, what?
What the
I'm
fuck,
just here
dude?
as a tourist. I'm a student, bro. Like, it
Oh
was
man,
just.
fuck. It's
I
18,
just
man.
looked at him
Come
and
on.
laughed. Really, I didn't know how to react. I was like, man, what is this old dude
Was
talking
this a
about? But
white dude? Surely a white dude.
yeah, old white dude. But hey, man,
White dude. Whatever.
yeah. So that was kind of weird. But anyway, so she was with me for
What were
like
your
two.
thoughts on that? Because like, what did you manage to see a lot of Africans? Like, how did you feel seeing obviously a lot? Because there's a lot of white people in Australia, of course. There's not many black people around. Did you feel by any chance uncomfortable, or were you looking like? How did you feel? How was that for you? Were you used
Uh,
to it?
the thing is, I already expected it. You don't come to Australia and say, "Ah, this is gonna look like Africa." Like, I already knew like it was gonna
Okay.
be. freaking different in that sense. So I
Uh-huh.
kind of walked around and I was like, obviously, yeah, you kind of feel left out
Yeah.
in a way because you're not even left out, but you feel like you stand out. Because I was like, damn, man, where my Africans at? Like, you
Yeah.
try to look at your left, try to look at your right. So didn't really see that many of them. But it's something, yeah, like I said, you kind of expect it, you're coming to Australia. But it definitely did kind of make me, especially in that moment with that old dude, it made me feel like, man, this dude's just doing the classic stereotypes of like, oh yeah, all of them are the
Yeah.
same or whatever the heck, like
Fuck.
trying to put us in the box. So that was messed up. But then
Did you tell your mom? What did your mom
besides
do?
that,
Your mom would have gone crazy.
man, she just, I think, I don't actually remember how she reacted to it, but I think she was like, man, you should have come up with a comeback.
Should have
Like,
put
should
him.
have dissed him, should have insulted him back or something. But anyway, it was
Yeah.
whatever. I didn't really take offense. I just kind of laughed it off. But that was my first 2 weeks. So then I stayed with the Australian family. But after that, after a month, I moved out of the Australian family because I was like, man, because it kind of felt like they were playing a parent role. So in my head, I was like, I
Yeah.
signed up for 1 month only. So I was like, nah, man, I want to live by myself,
Oh.
like with only
Wait, did you even
students.
complete the month?
Yeah, I finished the month. Yeah,
Oh, okay. All
because
right.
it came.
That was really smart from you, just doing 1 month. I
Yeah,
was locked in a contract for a whole year or something, and
freaking hell.
it was difficult to change.
But yeah, man,
Um,
it was a month and it was linked to IES, like which is the grade 12 thing. So it was like you could do IES, but then also in the same package, you can pay 1 month of homestay. So I was like, okay. But then once I moved to the new house, it was like same situation as you, bro. Like 7 housemates, 4 people in the ground floor, 4 people in the top floor. And what would happen is every 6 months, every new semester, people would move out, other people would come in. So I met so many different type of dudes, man. Like we said, all
yeah.
those categories I've met them. But then there was one dude that stood out, man, and man, that dude was just the type of guy that just likes to
Where
argue.
where is this at? Like, what suburb was this?
It was in Orchid Flower, yeah.
Right.
So yeah, man, I was in an 8-person house there, and man, this dude, the type of dude that just likes to argue with everyone, like just for no reason, bro. Like you might be having the best day ever, like just chilling, like relaxing, and then they'll come up with a reason to freaking start some problems, and
They pick
everyone
up
had
your
a
shit, but
problem with him.
who the fuck didn't wash the dishes? Who the fuck
Yeah,
didn't wash
yeah,
the dishes? You get like
yeah.
loud as fuck all the time.
Just some weird ass and weird comments too. Like, okay, so one thing he did, like,
Uh-huh.
I was like sleeping. I remember I had class the next day, like at uni, and this is like midnight. And he didn't really study or work. I don't know what he did. I think he just got supported by the government basically, like every month,
Okay.
getting the check. So he used to live off of that.
Uh-huh.
But then yeah, it was midnight, and I remember he was in the living room.
Yeah.
Then he kind of, I just felt something on my door. I was like, oh, okay, I don't know what that is. But I felt like a bump, a thud on my door, like a bumping sound. And I was
Okay.
like, okay.
Were you sleeping at this point, or were you completely awake?
Yeah, I was kind of in that in between where I'm kind of
Yeah.
asleep, kind of awake, like trying to
Right.
fall asleep.
Uh-huh.
Then all I hear is like my door knocking, like boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, bruh. And it just
Damn.
like constant door knocks. And I was like, okay, let me see what's going on. I get up, I open my door, and a freaking ironing board falls on top of me, bro. So he put an ironing board. He put an ironing board like next to my door, and he was like, ha ha, ha, knocked the door. Then I opened it and I saw a freaking ironing board fall down. And I mean, man, I got so pissed off, bro. I was like, man,
That I'm so bad with pranks. Like, I cannot take a prank at
yeah.
all. Like,
And,
never. Like, he's just. I'm just
and the
really
crazy
bad
thing
with it.
is, like, I can appreciate a prank, right? But then he would do it over and over and over, kind of thing. Like the first time, it's kind of funny, like yeah. But then he would kind of do it to. If he
Yeah.
didn't do it to me, he would then do it to another housemate, and then do it back to me because he thought he would just kind of repetitively do stuff, and it just got to the point where it's not funny anymore. So a lot of people got annoyed with him because of that.
Damn.
And yeah, man, I remember.
Hmm.
So that was a big thing. But another thing, like I remember him watching TV once, and then he called me. He was like, "Oh, He's like, hey Alan, and he already knew my background. He knows I speak Portuguese. I'm from Mozambique,
Yeah.
and he was like, hey Alan, man, come here, bro. I was like, yeah, what's happening? And he's like, oh, it was like people speaking Arabic on the TV, and it
Yeah.
was yeah, they're speaking Arabic, bro. He's like, oh, Alan, so this is you see, those are your brothers on TV, right?
Those are your
I was
brothers.
like, I
Racist
mean,
comments all the time. Fuck
yeah,
off.
racist comments, bro. And then he's like, oh, no, what are they saying, bro? What are you saying? I was like, man, shut
And
up,
keep
bro. Like
kept on
he,
playing. Like although you said like no, he would keep on going. Like
yeah, I'd say, I
it wasn't
literally let him know that's a different language to what I speak. Like, yeah, we're from the same continent, but
the
it's different cultures. Then he'd be like, no, but what are they saying though? So I was like, man, this guy is just hopeless. Like,
oh.
so yeah, just
It's
very
so
annoying
difficult.
guy.
What are you doing in that situation? Like, I mean, I guess you weren't that annoyed like to the point where you had to move. Like, what did you do? Like, did you say like did you actually have a conversation with him and be like,
Man, I
hey,
freaking
dude?
screamed at the dude, man. I like put my foot down and I was like, hey, bro, you keep talking to me like that, I'm gonna kick your ass, bro. Like it was just, I got really pissed, man. I was like, man, don't you messing with the wrong one. So
Yeah,
yeah, because after a while, man, it just wasn't funny anymore. He just thought he was being
yeah.
funny, but it wasn't. Yeah, so man, it's
I actually
just
remember
weird
that.
guys.
I remember that house, and but like I mean that was a shit housemate. But I also remember the French dudes,
Yeah,
the party guys, partying all the time, dude. What
those are cool guys, man.
lads, bro,
Yeah,
lads, every day, all
man,
day.
they introduced me to so many French people, man. Like, and they'd go out almost every day because you know how uni is. Like, you have the
Yeah,
Quest events, so there's events almost every day, and they'd be like, "Oh, we're going to the Quest, and
we are going to the Quisto event, though.
you want to come, Alan?" So they were such cool, chill dudes, and
How old were
yeah,
these
man.
people? Because you were 18. How old were they?
No, at that time I was with the French guys. I think I was 19,
Mm,
and they were 22 and 23, if I remember properly, and they were exchange students.
okay.
But yeah, man, freaking legends, man. Like they introduced me to so many French people. I go to French parties with them, and um, yeah,
Yeah,
just they introduced me to that culture, which was kind of cool.
dude. I think during that time I was literally in bed all day. I mean, because I couldn't go out. I had to be at home by 10 p.m. It was a solid year. If you actually think about it, all IES was me literally sleeping at 10 p.m. because I would have someone ring
Yeah,
on my room being like, hey,
yeah,
and if I didn't answer, like I remember I was struggling so much to get a job, a lot, and I
mm,
managed to find this kitchen place literally across the street, like literally across the street. I got a job as a kitchen hand in this Mexican restaurant called Montezuma. So I
mm,
literally had to wash dishes, and there was one
mm,
day on Friday. Obviously, I had to work after 10 p.m. and I had to be in my room by 10 p.m. So I'm washing
mm.
my dishes like an absolute bitch. I'm like, yes,
Yeah,
with hot water,
yeah.
and I was so stupid. I was so dumb to do anything, even wash dishes. I would literally put the water in like boiling water, and I would like literally burn my hands washing the dishes. But I was like, oh, like it's coming up with super hot water. Like I'm just gonna like just wash the dishes with my fingers, like fucking with fingers.
Like freaking
Yeah, oh,
360 scrub with your fingers.
yeah, exactly. And it would get to the point where the actual plate is like boiling hot. So even the plate is hot, and I was grabbing that shit.
Yeah.
I would be like, oh fuck shit, but I would still wash the fucking dishes. And then one night, I get a call, fucking ring, ring, ring.
Mm,
Unknown number. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I answer the phone. Hey, it's Willie speaking. Oh, hi there. This is my name. I'm Michaela. I'm calling from the University of Queensland. How are you? And I'm like, holy fuck.
mm.
I've been at that point. I was like six months in Australia, only for 6 months.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, dude, they're gonna deport me because I'm
Yeah,
working
like
way
man, I'm
10 past
screwed.
PM. Yeah. So you have to. So I don't know if you're aware. I'm pretty sure you're aware. You need to be at home by 10 p.m. Where are you right now? I'm actually at work. Well, but I don't really care. You have to be at home by 10 p.m.
Mm.
Otherwise, I have to bring someone up, and it'll be it just won't be good for you. So I recommend you go to your room immediately. And I'm like, oh, I'm really sorry, but
Like it's
I'm at
curfew
work.
time.
I can't leave. I can't leave because I mean, first of all, I'm desperate for money, and I just got this
Mm.
job. I can't just like fuck off. And
Yeah.
then I started to think about all these things like visa and like
Yeah,
Man, I don't,
he's
I
getting
don't want my
deported.
visa. Yeah, I don't want to go
Yeah,
back. Immigrant, classic immigrant.
yeah,
Um,
immigrant worries.
yeah, exactly. So I was like, oh yeah, oh, and I had a coat on me. I was like, oh shit, fuck it. Yeah, I took my coat off. I'm
Mm.
really sorry. I need to go. I'm really sorry, but bye.
Yeah,
I just,
so
I
sorry, but yeah.
catch it, latest. I left
Oh
work,
man.
get a call next day, and the chick is like, "Oh, I heard." So this is the manager. I heard that you left work. Um, what happened? And I'm like, "Oh, I just didn't know that I had to be before 10 p.m. Um, in my bedroom. I really have to apologize for that." And I'm talking this quiet because I remember I was in English class in A. Remember, I
Yeah,
was in A. I picked up the phone and I was in class and I'm like, "Hey, who's this?" Oh, the manager, and I couldn't
yeah.
leave. But you have to be you have to you can't just leave work, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm really sorry. And she's like,
Mm.
yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to let you go, but I appreciate your help for the past day, because it was literally a day. I only had the job for a day. Like I only had one shift. Next day I get kicked out, and it took me so long to get a job.
Oh, freaking
It
hell,
was so difficult, and it was the perfect job 'cause it was right in front of the house. Unfortunately, I have to let you go. I'm really sorry.
man, that's hilarious, man.
And I hung up, and I'm like, destroyed. Fuck. What the fuck am I
Man,
supposed to
that's
do?
messed up.
Fuck. What am I
I know it's
what the
been a
fuck?
day, but jeez, oh,
I know it's only been. I'm
that's
gonna have
messed
to let
up.
you go. Damn. And I had my hands next day were absolutely burned, like freaking,
Yeah, from the
like
freaking
peeling off and shit.
yeah, fuck.
It was not good. Like being at 17 years old is just, it was just terrible. It was horrible.
Mm.
But on the good note, like if I wouldn't if I wouldn't have gotten kicked out of that job, I wouldn't have gone into Kmart and been working in Kmart for the past 6 years. So
Mm.
I would have still working in Montezuma. I wouldn't have worked at Kmart. So it was the best thing.
Yeah, man, so things worked out in the end.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
that's good, man. Not for me, bro. Yeah, I remember my first job was a sales job, man. Like freaking selling. It was the
I
trashiest job
remember that.
ever, bro. Like
Yeah.
sales and commission based. So I was like selling freaking like car cleaning products. So it was like a spray that cleans cars. So how it would work is you basically go into a certain suburb and then just like, okay, just knock on the doors and do your pitch kind of thing. So you kind of like,
Oh,
walk with your bag on the side full of the cans.
yeah.
Did it
We
like
had
knock
to
on people's door?
walk. You had to walk
You
on every
get
single.
sometimes I take the train there like to the suburb and then uh get out of the get into the suburb and then freaking yeah knock on the doors within that area of the uh city. So that
Mhm.
certain area and the suburbs would be like freaking 30 minutes away from Brisbane City, 40 minutes away. So it'd be kind of
Mm.
like far away suburbs.
Right.
But then yeah, man, just like knock on the door, and be like, "Hey, how's it going, mate? I just have the spray right here. I'd like to show it how it works on your car. Do you have some time for me to show you how it works in your car?" And it'd be like, "Oh, um, nah, no thanks." So sometimes you just close the door in your face or whatever.
No, sorry.
Yeah. But then you get some other dudes where they would have the patience and they'd be like, "Yeah, okay." So you show them how it works, and the thing is, it kind of worked pretty well, man. Like it was a legit product, but man,
We're all day.
all day, like freaking I would whenever I had a day off from uni, because in architecture class, like we'd have 2 days off a week.
Mhm.
So in those 2 days, I would work with them. Yeah, basically 9 to 5, man. And the thing is, you would um, only make money when you sell a can to people. So it wasn't like hour based. And I remember in the end, I worked there for like a month. Well, 4 weeks basically, but it totaled up to a month, like from the start date to the end date. But yeah, 2 days each week. But then I got to a point where I remember at the end of the month I got my first check, like,
Mm.
and I remember it was like $180, and I was super excited, man. I was like, yeah, man, got $180,
Cash
man.
in the bank,
Yeah,
going
working for
bowling.
yeah, working for a month, got $180. Hey, I was actually proud of myself. But
With
then
the
I
whole
went
amount,
into
$180, man.
yeah, $180.
I'm all set.
Yeah, because that was the first job I actually had. Like, yeah, I never really had to work, so that was kind of a good moment for me. I was like, yeah, man, 180. So I went back to my house, and I remember telling my housemate about that, and I was like, yeah, man, I just got my first check. I got $180. Yeah, man. And it's like, how long have you been working there? It's like, working there for like a period of a month, but like, yeah, 2 days a week.
Damn.
And it's like, bro, I make $180 in a day. and he was, and he
Oh,
used to work in a cafe and stuff like that. So I was like, man, okay, that's when I knew I had to freaking get out of there. So I quit the
yeah.
job and yeah,
Damn, that's
but yeah,
crazy. That is
that was kind
crazy.
of wild.
We are getting into to can't speak. We're getting towards the end of the podcast, I reckon.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know if we have any other housemate stories. Um,
Um, there's so
yeah, I
many.
don't know.
Like, there's honestly
So
so
many.
many, and I start to feel bad because I feel like they're gonna see this and be like, "Oh, who are you? So such a fucking piece of shit."
Yeah. We got
Talking
to keep
down
it
on
low,
us.
guys. Got to keep giving you all the sauce. But yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, like probably in overall, you're gonna meet every single type of housemate. Like, like you're always gonna have that housemate which is really loud, the guy that is really
hmm
kind as well, the guy that is like
yeah,
compulsively, like clean all the time. And I'm pretty sure
yeah,
we've at one point we were that housemate as well. But dude, just like this, it comes a time where you actually have to keep your life in check and like keep your like
yeah,
shit together, and making sure that like you can like you're not living alone. You live with people. So as long as you
yeah,
make the environment nice, like you're gonna have a good time. And it's so important,
yeah,
especially if you're first moving in, because if you have a toxic environment, like you spend most of the time at home. If you go home thinking that you're gonna get into that toxic environment, you're not gonna last there like at all.
yeah,
So
yeah, man.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
you're not
just
gonna appreciate it. That's how it was a lot of times with me with that kind of housemate I talked about before. It was like you'd get in there and be like, oh man, now I gotta put up with this dude again. So yeah, it
yeah,
definitely does matter like who you live with. So yeah, man, pick good housemates. But a lot of times you can't really pick them. You kind of hope you end up with good ones. But I'd say what helped me in those situations though is like straight up just ignoring them like at some point, which is
mm,
yeah, it's kind of a
but
weird thing living in the same
it's
house.
still bad.
It still messes things up, but yeah, it's just
Like
you stay in
yeah,
my you stay in your zone, I stay in my zone. But yeah, I think that's the most you can do. But yeah,
yeah,
it's guess you just got to go through it. But
yeah.
yeah,
That's it. Yeah, I think that'd be it for today. I reckon. Um,
yeah, we touched on a few topics. Yeah, it's pretty good.
so yeah, well, thank you guys so much for watching as always. If you like this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe. Always give us some feedback. We'll try to improve all the time as always. If you have any
hmm
suggestions in terms of what you would like to know, we have 6 years in Australia, so surely
Yep.
we know something that you probably would like to know. So
hmm
don't be afraid to ask us any questions. And yeah,
Yeah.
um,
Cheers, guys. First episode in Zoom. There'll be a lot more of these, especially in days where we're not able to be together. But yeah, thanks, guys, for following along the journey. And yeah, we're just learning as we go. Freaking third episode. But yeah,
to the moon,
uh,
baby. Nothing's
to the moon,
stopping us.
boys.
To the moon, baby. The stars.
It's only up from here. So yeah, guys, thank you very much. Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah.
Tell a friend to tell a friend, man, if you like the content. And yeah, we appreciate you.
Catch you later.